Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're catching up with the adventurers of the Brazen Monkey Inn as they mop up some of their work in the Pewter Hills for Eerozin and his crew of gnomish miners who were set upon by fire beetles, if we recall last time. And we made the trip across from Lorabas here, all the way to the Pewter Hills here. We discovered a bridge here, which made it easier for crossing and made it all the way to the Pewter Hills. Once there, we found that several of the badger defenders or the badger guards had been killed by the fire beetles, and so with Eerozin in tow and the other gnomish miners, we made our way into the mine itself. So they were here, and then we made our way through here and found this cave complex area where we found the fire beetles, and we met them in battle. Now I want to do a quick sort of recap or retcon, not retcon, but well, I will retcon it. But in the moment, Zawar used some flaming oil to throw at the fire beetles when things seemed dire. And then I found on page 64 grenade-like mixels and how to adjudicate that. And so we'll go with that moving forward. So if you have oil that's a light, you have a 3-foot diameter for area of effect. Splash damage is 1 to 3 hit points, and damage from a direct hit is 2 to 12, plus 1 to 6 hit points. With the asterisks being, it will burn for 1 to 3 segments, causing 1 hit point of damage per segment, and a direct hit with flaming oil causes 2 to 12 points of damage with the first round, and 1 to 6 additional hit points of damage the second round, but then burns out. So it lasts about 2 rounds. But the amount of damage here was much more than I had anticipated. So I'm gonna suggest that when the fire beetles scuttled away farther into the crevasse here, deeper into the mine complex, they burned out and they died because of the damage, which would have been much more than I had originally anticipated. So at the end of the day, we did slay all the fire beetles, and then we went back to the main area to rest, to heal up, and they offered 2 pieces of jewelry and 3 gemstones to us as treasure, but we decided we were going to push on and find out which was beyond here. Now, as the DM and as the sort of the arbiter of this campaign, I'm going to suggest that whatever is in here remains on the singular page, and I don't think it'll go much farther than that. We won't go to lower levels. If I roll something that has stairs or lower levels, I will likely ignore that, and we'll find out what's here. This is more of a worked dungeon complex, as we found out, and then we're going to go through there today. So our heroes rested for the evening and most of the day. Jizna prayed for her spells to Istis. Zawar was reading over his spell books in preparation for the day. Was practicing his lobbing technique if he needs to do more flaming oil. I did notice that on his character sheet he has two flasks of oil left. So he has 1 flask of oil for the lantern, which lasts 3 hours, and then 1 flask of oil to throw as a missile or grenade like weapon. So once we run out of that, we do have torches, or brands as we call them, but we're hoping not to use them if we don't have to. So that's going to put a time limit on today's dungeon expeditions, and also us being first level adventurers, there's always the chance that discretion is the better part of valor, as they say. So our team sort of gears up, puts all the buckles on and straps, and gets their armor in place. And we're going to head off into the dungeon. We're going to leave Eerozin back. He's done his stuff about the fire beetles. He is interested in what's beyond the door in the dungeon, but he's not a warrior. He's a miner. He was just defending his crew and his livelihood, as it were. So we're excited about the prospect of delving deeper for ourselves. It's much more of a treasure gathering and or information gathering sort of thing. What sort of dungeon complex is here, and is it related to the Shvem Empire from the dungeons of Taroosh? They may have had an empire that spanned much of Ket, or a lot of Orth, as it might have been back 4,000 years ago or more. So we're interested in getting that information, and whether or not we can sell it to Omer, or whether or not it develops and makes us understand more about the story and more about the world of Greyhawk that we have found ourselves in. And so we line up in our usual 4-point stance with Faruq, Mamula, Zawar, and Jizna. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're off on our way into the dungeons. And what does that mean? That means we get out the old Dungeon Master's Guide and Appendix A. Today we're going to see how well, how fortuitous our rolling is today. But as we make our way to here, to the northern part of this, there's that sort of residue of, the burning of the fire beetles, the smoke, and almost like a wood fire that you would have in your backyard. It sort of lingers in the air. And then we collect the glands from the fire beetles, knowing that they last, I believe, for 1 to 6 days, and we can sell them to miners, which we happen to have a few miners here. So anyways, that's sort of kind of the treasure that we have at the moment. Right now, when we're talking about the jewelry and the gems, we don't know how much they are. We're going to have somebody appraise them when we get back to Lorabas, so I can't claim the experience for that treasure quite yet. We don't know what they are. When we get back to Lorabas, we'll roll up what they are and how much they're worth. So it may be a lucrative sort of endeavor at this point, but we don't know yet. So we're going to go through here and we're going to find out what's beyond this broken sort of fallen down stones here that sort of the fire beetles came through, but they had come through a different area, which we think is is worked stone in a dungeon type thing. So we're gonna roll this as the periodic check on the first table. See what that comes up with. Always when there's an 11, this stinks. No, 11. No, this doesn't stink when it's 11. It stinks when it's chamber size or chamber contents. That's always the worst roll we could have, just empty. But 11 on the periodic check says passage turns, check width on table 3. So we're going to make the passage right now because you're supposed to check it every so often. It's every 30. So we're going to go up here and give it 30. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we collect the fire beetles. we take a look at the walls, see that they're worked. There's nothing interesting in a way that may make them look different than other dungeon walls that we have seen. Just mortar, it's the same kind of stonework that you would have. So we go up to 30 feet, and that's a turn because we're checking along the way. And then we're going to check again. We know it turns when we checked it. Passage turns, table 4. See table 4, check width on table 3. So table 4. Passage turns, see table 4. Check width on table 3. Table 4. Passage turns. And we're going to use discretion, DM discretion if we butt up against the sides of this or it comes backwards like this. And we'll sort of make our own determinations. So right 90 degrees. Well, that's not that bad. So let's check the passage width. It's 12. It's 10 feet. So it's not a super wide passage. And then Zoar makes a comment that this is looking familiar in terms of the dungeon. And then Mumala sort of huffs at him and says, well, what did you expect? This is what you've gotten yourself into. If you want treasure, you gotta find it from lost areas unless you want to be a criminal. And I've been there. And Jizna mentions about, the will of Istis, and she continues to put us in areas that are important or that are linked to our own destinies, be they ending now or not. So that's the second turn. It remains, let's see, I'm going to roll a d6 and we'll say there's some sort of dungeon dressing if it's 4 to 6. So 4. So there is some dungeon dressing here. Let's pop over here and see. Oh, the dungeon dressing is on. Yeah, here's the dungeon dressing. I'm just gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 5, 6. 1, 2, religious articles and furnishings. Interesting. Find out what on the side of this passage there's 39 holy, unholy writings. Okay. 50-50, that's 50% chance it's holy, over 50 it's unholy. 88. I don't know if you can see that. I wasn't still on the board. 88. So they are unholy writings. Are they related to, I want to say 75% related to Moloch, 25% not. So over 76, it's not related to Moloch. 71, that's close, but they are related to Moloch from the dungeons of Taroosh, the previous dungeon that we saw. So we do see that this this worship of Moloch as this sort of vengeful god who both protects, tortures, and demands much from them, was pervasive throughout other other holdings and places in the Shvem Empire. Wasn't just contained. I got HR here. Holy writings for Moloch. So it's more pervasive across the Shvem Empire than it is, unless it's just like parochial to this part of the world. But this is related to that. Okay, let's find out what happens at the end of this. $12. Here I check. Passage turns. We're back in the dungeons again. 11 turns. I'm not gonna go right because that's back down here. I'm gonna say left. How wide is this passage? It is 30 feet wide. This is actually more or less a chamber. It's 30 feet wide and it goes 30 feet north and south. It does look like a chamber. It's like a broad avenue, right? And this may be some sort of like financial district or more of a religious. There were little religious things in here too. This could be some sort of a temple. Got another turn. What happens at the end of this? Three turns in. One. Continue straight, check in 60 on this table. So this is a broad avenue. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is like a long corridor passageway. And I would think that like there's murals on here somewhere, right? Or paintings or frescoes. And we'll determine that there are frescoes here because like the way that it's set up, it's gotta have some sort of, it's a religious for Moloch, it's gotta have some sort of artwork or frescoes on the wall. We've got as we make our way here, it's getting more and more familiar, I suppose. Let's look at we'll do the we're gonna do painting. We call it a painting on the wall. $93. Still life, natural objects, seashells, flowers, fruit, etc. we're gonna say it's like a black flower pattern painted all along the walls. There's the vines, stretching along the walls are kind of faded and cracked, but at several intervals there are blumages of black flowers that point out, almost kind of like tulips that have opened up. So we'll call it paintings. But they're probably more like frescoes. Black flowers, vines. So giving us more of a look into the the culture and the history of the shvem people. There's these flowery depictions of like a purpley or gray or black. We're not sure because it's been faded over the centuries, but we are 4 turns in. We get to the end of this hallway. And what happens? 97. Oh, it's a 20. 19. Trick/trap. See table 7. Passage continues. Check again in 30 feet. Trick, trap. Table 7. This is where it gets interesting because, I'm playing both as the DM and as the player. So trick trap's gonna be kind of hard. We'll see what this comes up with. 10. Has 9 above, but room descends 2 levels. 20 by 20 elevator room partly has entered. 20 by 20 elevator room. Party has entered door directly ahead and is in a room. Descends 1 level and will not descend for 30 turns. Okay. So there's an elevator here. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but we'll see how it plays out. Or is it 20 by 20 elevator room? So they get 30. So they're walking down the middle here, and we'll call this the elevator that goes down. So we've been trekked down to, I'm not gonna make it go way over here, so we're gonna keep this on the table here. So the elevator goes down to here, just so we can sort of see it. So we're stuck down here for 30 turns. 5. We find ourselves here, and we're trying to figure out what we've done. When we get here, I guess we gotta decide what happens on level 2. I did decide that I wasn't gonna do other levels, but I did. 1. Periodic check, continue straight, check again, 60 feet. So we can't go 60 feet. So this is about 20 by 20 area. We know this continues on beyond here. 30 more feet. Somehow, we're not used to like dungeoneering. We're rather new at it. So it's not a surprise that we fumbled onto this weird trick type elevator thing that took us down to the 2nd level. And we're aware that we've gone down a level. And so this will be a 20 by 20 thing, and we're going to continue on. I'm not going to 60 feet. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, let's go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we are, thinking that we're going to do a little sort of dungeon delving to pick up the pieces here, and we find ourselves on the second level. So we need 30 turns, starts here, 1. We're at 6. We're gonna have to use our last flask of oil. We don't know. The thing is, we don't know how long we have to wait down here, unless we can find another thing up. But this is dangerous territory. That was a random encounter check. Nothing. Okay. 5 door. Interesting. Table 2 doors. What's beyond the door? Call this is a large door. So what were they doing down here? You know, bringing things for, maybe they were bringing, you know, minerals or ores or gems up and down this elevator, and it's a wide room for carts, and or it could be a wide room for monsters and things like that. So beyond the door is 18. Room. Go to table 5. There's a room beyond the door. I feel like I'm gonna have to do a different sheet of paper for this. Room. Chambers and rooms. So rooms. D20, 15. Rectangular, 20 by 40. This is not even. So we're gonna north, south, east, west, straight ahead. Just as I said it. North, south, east, west. So north, south. Okay, south. Go south. This is our room. So we're gonna another turn. Oh, I'm gonna listen at the door. See if we hear anything. No, we don't. But that's pretty close. Okay. So, what's the room? We got the room. Try to get the room. Number of exits. 7. Over 600. 20 by 40 is 800. There's 4 exits from this room. 1, 2, 3. Door. Exit is 1. Opposite wall. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 4. Opposite wall. 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be a double door here too. And then we'll do a door north. Singular door north. Singular door south. What's in the room? Exit location, exit direction, chamber, room and contents. 19. Trick, trap. See, we're back to tricks and traps. Okay. Table 7. Nine. I'm gonna stop that right there. I'm not going down to a 3rd level. 6. Pit. 10 feet deep. 3 and 6 fall in. Okay, where's the pit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that's easy enough. 2, 1, 2. Right here. Pit trap. Mumala is our point guy, so we'll see if he falls in. That's a 4. He did not fall in. He at the last second, the pit trap sort of opened up and he jumped back. He runs into Jizna, knocks her back. She kind of guffaws. She doesn't like being touched by like a smelly half-orc, even though she's a compatriot of his. She doesn't like that. So we did avoid the trap in a way, but there's nothing else in here to suggest otherwise. So north, south, east. East we go. What's beyond the door? 17, a room, another room. Table 5. 1, 10 by 10. That's not entirely possible. Let's go 10 by 20, because this is the... Yeah. Interesting. Up to 600. Four. Up to 602. Well, that one had the trap in it, so I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one here. Just, that's what I'm feeling today. And then we're going to find out what's in the room. Chamber or room contents. 3. Empty. We're all sort of we don't like this room. We're going to head back and we're going to go south down here. What's beyond this door? Chamber. Always check chamber path. Chamber. Chamber 5. Table 5. Always check width of passage. Table 3A. $10 feet. We got a chamber. 9. Chamber, rectangular, 20 by 30. Left, right, north to south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So chamber is rectangular, 20 by 30. Yeah. Number of exits. This is really taking a long time. Up to 600. There's one exit. And I assume it's this way. Oh, that could be this way. Oh yeah, keep it going this way. This is the chamber exit, so there's like kind of like a archway here. Chamber contents. 16. This has got to be something. Monster and treasure. Fiji below. Monster. This could be lucrative though. 59. Make it a 69. 250 GP. And then 2 rolls. 7. Add 10s, 11,000 copper pieces. It's interesting. Here's the problem though. We're on level 2. So if you're on the dungeon level, or on the second level of the dungeon, reroll d20, find out what level the monster is. 1. Oh. First level monster. Got lucky there. We got lucky. 68. Huh. 1 to 3 piercers. One, 2 is 1, 2, 3 is 3, 4. 1 to 2, 1 to 2 is 1. 3 to 4 is 2. 5 to 6 is 3. So there are 2 piercers here. This is interesting. Interesting. Wow. This is a dungeon monster. This is a dungeon monster. But this could be very dangerous. Very dangerous. So it's 1 to 3, it's not 3 to 18, so it's good. Hit dice 1 to 4. Treasure type nil, number of attacks 1, damage per attack, depending on their hit dice. But we have to make sure that we gotta cap it because we're level 1. So I'm gonna put it as 1 hit dice monster, which would be 1 to 6 per attack. We have to look up, but let's see if we're surprised. So, piercers inhabit caves, caverns, and similar subterranean places. With their stony outer casing, these monsters are indistinguishable from stalactites found on cave roofs. They are attracted by noise and heat, and when a living creature passes beneath their position above, they will drop on it in order to kill and devour it. Larger varieties will be found with smaller ones. The size of the piercer is equal to its hit dice, and there is an equal probability of a piercer being 1, 2, 3, 4 in size. Largest piercers with 6 foot long, 1 foot at the base, and weighs 500 pounds. So I'm going to say these are a smaller variety of piercers. They can do 1d6. And we're going to have to see whether or not we're surprised. We're looking around. So what happens when they hit the ground? Their movement is 1. %, likely to surprise. 84. We are surprised by the piercer. So they're a 1 hit die monster, which makes their attacks at our level to be 1 hit die monster. We're going to Mumala, Jizna. We're going to leave Zawar alone. Mumala, Jizna, and Faruq. So we'll get Faruq here. He's surprised, so he doesn't get a shield bonus. So he'll be armor class 7. I gotta roll this in view. 6. Lucky Faruq. I missed Faruq. Mumala. 5. Lucky Faruq. Jizna. 10. So if you roll a 10 and your 1 hit die creature, all you can hit is armor class 10. Yeah, so they all miss. Wow. So lucky these things hit the floor and then they start kind of crawling away. Then we roll initiative. It's another trick or trap. We lost initiative. They're moving 1 inch or 10 feet, if you will, to try and like crawl back up. They're not going to make it. Or well, we get a chance to attack them. Okay. And they have 3 hit points, 7 hit points, and 1 hit point. This is funny. It could have been very dangerous, right? So 3, 7, 1. Mumala is gonna attack first. He misses. Faruq misses. Jizna misses. We're all I don't think they can attack though. They're on the ground, right? Their attack is, number attacks what? They attack by drop on it in order to kill and devour it. Large varieties will be found with smaller ones. This is really hard because there's a one hit dice to be like, they're only like a few feet. I think they're pretty much helpless. So they move another 10 feet. They might try and crawl up the wall again. We win initiative this time. Mamala misses. Faruq hits. He gets number 2, which is a 7 hit point one. So he's down to 3. Jizna hits. Wait a second. Jizna rolled a 15. I think she'll hit. Cleric 1 to 3. She rolled a 15. She hit armor class 5. And these are armor class 3, I think. Yeah, she didn't. She didn't. This is going to be like a war of attrition. We'll say like, it'll take 6 rounds for them to get up to the top. Back up, crawl up the wall, out of our reach. We win. Mumala, miss. Faruq, miss. Jizna, miss. Another round. This is round 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So round 4, they get the move. So they have 2 more rounds before they're out of our reach. Mawala, Faruq, Jizna, Jesus. They win 1 more round before they're out of our reach. Miss, miss, miss. Tie. We'll get 1 more shot at it. Mumala. I don't think that's gonna do it. We got +1 damage. Thieves and assassins 1 to 4. 16. It's armor class 5. Yeah. Yeah, that's a miss. Jizna, miss. So they get away. Because it's a 6th round, they got up, they're out of our reach. We could throw javelins, but that's a waste of time. So now we're aware that there are piercers here. That happened really strangely. Could have gone worse for us, but there's all that treasure on the floor. Maybe Zawar was going and trying to pick it all up. Just grab the gold pieces. So we grab 250 gold pieces. We leave 1,000 copper pieces. So there are still 1,000 CP here. And we're gonna assume we're gonna go one more room, as they say, right? Because we have to wait around. There's gonna be, I'm gonna have to like stop this short, and we're gonna have to wait around for. So that's 10. That's a turn. That's a turn. We gotta rest for a turn. Wait a second. We gotta rest. We gotta rest for a turn. That's 1 turn. Every 6, there's a random encounter. 1, 2. We're going to be down here for 30 turns. I don't know if we're going to make it. So we move beyond here. I guess we could park at the elevator. Let's go what's beyond the chamber. Find out what's beyond the chamber, and then we'll likely wind it down. This is like, we're happy to be alive, but we need to get back. We realize, you know, Faruq realizes we're getting too far from our tether. We're too far from safety net. But we do have some sort of inkling, or we do have evidence that this is the Shvem Empire, another sort of outpost several miles outside of Taroosh. And we'll see if Omar can figure out what the name of this is and what it's for. But we're going to go through here. We're going to one more. One more random encounter roll. The periodic check, or what's beyond chamber. Determine the balance level. Okay, so the chamber goes on. And we're just going to do a periodic check again, don't we? I think there's something wrong with this table, or my die aren't like well weighted. 3 to 5. There can't be a door, it's a chamber. 19. No way. Table VDC footnote. Passage continues. Check again in 30 feet on this table. Okay. Continue straight. 60 feet. This is a really long one. There's got to be some sort of maybe it gets to another area. This is like, you know how there are like malls or subway areas that have underground sort of passages that go under highways or under busy streets, that have sort of like bazaars in them and things that they sell around those stops. But it could be something like that. We're gonna check for dungeon dressing in here too, and then we're gonna roll again. Check for. I'm not gonna continue straight. Door. So the door is 11, right? Ah. It's the door going right here. And we'll check for a secret door. There's no secret door. So then we're going to do the dungeon dressing, and then I'm going to call it a day on tenterhooks before next time, because we still have turn, This is like 1, 2, 3. We're 1/10 of the way there. So we're going to have, at some point, dungeon dressing. This continues to be religious articles and furnishings. $58. Offertory container. I'll put it here. What kind of offerings would they have to Moloch? We'll decide that. So this gets more and more interesting as we go along. More and more. More and more of a mystery as we go on, I suppose. But that's the thing with the random dungeon dressing or random dungeon generation. Sometimes there's like mazes. It is kind of like a maze. We're lucky so far that we haven't come across too many damaging monsters, considering that we are now currently on level 2 of the dungeon below the Pewter Hill mines. We did get 250 gold pieces today in the piercers sort of area. We couldn't break their rough hides or carapaces. We did once. We hit one once, but they've climbed up back into the ceiling. Nobody devoured us and ate us, which was lucky. But I think, well, and then we hit that trap, and now we're stuck down here for another 27. Wait a second. Yeah, we're down 30 turns. So these are turns. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. 15. We're down 15 turns. We have 15. We're halfway through this. And to get into metagaming, I think we're going to say that we realize there's some sort of communication on it that suggests that it rises after about 30, 300 minutes. So we'll go back there eventually when we get back together tomorrow. So I'm gonna or next time, I'm gonna sort of wrap it up in part 3, I suppose, if we survive it. Well, that will wrap it up either way. But we'll take a break here. As always, if you like this video, give it a like. I'm always accepting new subscribers to the channel as we're trying to grow it. And if you have any comments or questions about anything that happened in this episode or has happened in any of the episodes that I've done so far, feel free to put them in and ask the questions and comment. Be happy to hear your understanding or your experience with piercers in the dungeons. Of course, I haven't had a ton of experience with piercers, so I'm not sure I did it right, because they fell down, they missed, and then they sort of crawling slowly back up to get into place. And I think that was their attack. And sort of we whacked away at them, but they have, hard shells and we couldn't get through it. But if you've had experience with piercers before, had lost some adventurers to that sort of sneaky trap, let me know in the comments and we'll keep the discussion going. As always, thanks for checking me out. We'll talk to you soon and we'll see you next time.